For years, I bought worms every season. Red wigglers, European night crawlers, you name it, I ordered them, dumped them into my compost piles and raised beds, hoping to kickstart soil life and organic matter breakdown, and every year the same story repeated itself. Within a few months, they'd vanish. No matter how rich the compost or how careful I was with moisture, my soil just couldn't sustain a lusting worm population. That changed completely when I stumbled on what I now call the cardboard secret. It's simple, costs nothing, and once I put it to work, my soil transformed. Worms returned naturally and multiplied faster than any batch I ever bought. Here's what I discovered, why it works better than imported worms, and exactly how to apply it in your garden so your soil starts producing its own thriving worm colonies. When we buy worms, we're trying to fix a biological imbalance. Worms don't disappear because we didn't add enough of them. They disappear because the conditions that sustain them are missing. Worms need three things: consistent moisture, available food that decomposes slowly, and a protective habitat free from light and temperature swings. 1. Consistent moisture. 1. Available food that decomposes slowly. 1. A protective habitat free from light and temperature swings. Compost provides nutrition but not a lasting structure or moisture regulation. Once the food is gone or the top layer dries out, the worms leave or die off. That's where cardboard changes everything. Unlike compost, cardboard doesn't decompose all at once. It breaks down gradually, creating a long-term food source for fungi and bacteria, which in turn feed the worms. It also locks in humidity and creates a dark, buffered microclimate worms love. The first time I laid down cardboard in my beds, I noticed that within weeks, the worms weren't just returning, they were reproducing. When you stop buying worms and instead build a consistent habitat, you solve the root problem. You stop importing life and start growing it. In nature, worms thrive where leaf litter and fallen wood layers accumulate. Places where moisture is trapped, food is abundant, and decomposition is continuous. Cardboard, especially plain corrugated brown cardboard, mimics those same layers perfectly. Its cellulose and lignin composition make it an ideal fungal food source. Once fungi move in, bacteria follow, and that microbial community becomes the worm's dinner table. The method I use now is simple but specific. Start with soil that's moist, not soaked, but damp enough that a handful holds together when squeezed. Lay down 2 layers of plain cardboard, removing all tape and stickers. Water the cardboard thoroughly until it softens, then cover it with 5 to 8 centimeters of organic matter, compost, shredded leaves, or partially rotted straw. This top layer does 2 things. It shades the cardboard from the sun and adds additional microbial food. In about 3 weeks, you'll see white fungal strands spreading under the cardboard, followed shortly by small clusters of worms. The worms don't just feed on the cardboard, they feed on the microbes breaking it down. Within 2 months, that lifeless soil becomes loose, aerated, and visibly alive. Worms will only stay and multiply if the environment beneath the cardboard remains moist and stable. During dry spells, water every 3 or 4 days, just enough to keep the cardboard spongy. If it dries out completely, it becomes a barrier. If it's soaked, it goes anaerobic. You'll know the balance is right if the soil beneath stays dark and crumbly, not muddy. You can also jumpstart the microbial breakdown by spraying a diluted compost tea, 1 part compost tea to 4 parts water, once every 2 weeks. The microbial infusion speeds fungal colonization, which directly increases worm-feeding activity. One of the biggest misconceptions about worms is that they want raw kitchen scraps. In truth, worms don't eat the scraps themselves, they eat the microbes, breaking those scraps down. Cardboard creates the ideal stage for that microbial activity. The cellulose acts like a sponge, holding water and supporting fungal webs that provide the exact type of organic matter worms crave. In a small trial, I ran on 2 identical raised beds, one fed weekly with compost and the other with this cardboard layering method. The cardboard bed had triple the worm density after 10 weeks. The reason came down to stability. Compost heats and cools as it decomposes, creating feast or famine conditions. Cardboard maintains a steady breakdown rate and constant fungal activity, giving worms a consistent food supply and microhabitat. If you want even faster reproduction, add a mix of carbon and nitrogen materials above the cardboard, roughly 3 parts brown, like leaves or shredded paper, to 1 part green, like grass clippings or manure. This ratio ensures a slow, steady decomposition that mimics what worms evolved to live under. Here's how to turn this discovery into a permanent soil-building system. Each fall, once your beds are cleared, apply a fresh 2-layer sheet of cardboard across the surface. Add organic material on top, water it well, and let it rest through winter. When spring planting comes, cut planting holes directly through softened sections of cardboard. For areas with severely compacted or sandy soil, repeat this process twice a year, fall and spring. Each cycle adds new organic matter, fungal biomass, and worm castings. After 2 seasons, you won't need to buy compost or worms. The system becomes self-feeding. Worms breed, castings accumulate, and your soil fertility climbs naturally. The cardboard layer also suppresses weeds and stabilizes moisture levels, reducing the need for constant watering. This cardboard method taught me that healthy soil doesn't need imported solutions. When you give soil the right structure and conditions, life appears on its own. Worms don't need to be added. They need to be invited, and cardboard does that better than any store-bought compost or worm starter mix. So, if you've been spending money on worms every season and watching them vanish, stop. Create the habitat and they'll come. Lay down cardboard, keep it damp, and cover it with organic material. Then let nature handle the rest. Within weeks, you'll see the difference, and by the next season, your soil will be alive in ways you haven't seen before. Good soil isn't something you buy, it's something you build, and often the key is understanding what nature's already been doing perfectly for millions of years. This cardboard secret is proof of that. It costs nothing, requires minimal effort, and delivers results that no amount of purchased worms ever could. If this guide helped you rethink how to grow worms and regenerate your soil naturally, subscribe to Hydrohaven, drop a comment sharing your results, and share this video with a gardener who's ready to stop buying worms and start building living soil the natural way. The best soil builders are already in your backyard. They just need a place to call home.